Hello from Lancaster. It's very cold. I think part of me is already in Sydney because cold is feeling really cold, and I'm waking up in the night, like when it would be daytime in Sydney. So I wanted to come live. I've been meaning to do this live for a few days now, and it's about patience when you're mid-transformation. When you are wanting to change your life, you're wanting to... This thing's falling. Hang on. Let's get it right. Okay, so it's about... So, I'm going to start from the beginning. Hello, people. So, there came a point in my life where I realized that all the stuff I didn't like in my life, the relationships that hadn't worked out, the aggravation, the frustrations, I realized at some point that it was because of me. It wasn't... I mean, obviously, people had done things that weren't great to me and all that kind of thing. But really, I attracted it. Something in me was attracting these really broken people and these really... this phone is balanced, like, on a thing. I'm going to try and... it's wonky, but never mind. Yeah, I realized it was me, and I had to change my vibration. I was doing a lot of research around energy and healing and all that stuff, and I started realizing that the emotions have different vibrations, and the emotions, the people I was attracting and the situations I was attracting were not at all what I really wanted in my life. So there came a point where I was like, enough is enough. You've heard me say that before. Enough is enough. I'm not having this experience ever again. Something has to change. And rather than just willing the environment to bring me new experiences, I realized that I had to change me. I had to change the core structure of my energy and of my emotional patterns and my work with my wounding, so that I didn't keep attracting the same situations that were pretty much mirroring where I was broken, if you want to call it broken. It's not really broken, it's more like where I was lacking love for myself. It was now I know that I had to go in and find the places where I was lacking love and pour the love back in, so that then I'm like healing those parts of me that were attracting all the wrong situations. And so but what I also realized at the time was like, okay, so I'm going to change me. I'm going to change everything. I'm going to change how I think. I'm going to change how I feel. I'm going to burn myself to the ground. I'm going to burn to ashes and start again. And I think part of me knew that this will not be an instant thing. There's no way that I'm going to manage to change. Hi June, how are you doing? Hello from Lancaster. It's bloody freezing. Yeah, so changing your emotional patterns, changing all that, it takes some time. I mean, you can do quantum leaping, and aura transformation is a way of like having a quantum leap. Working with kinesiologists is like working to dissolve patterns quickly. But I had none of that at the time. When I realized, oh, that's very sweet. I'm not missing anyone yet. But I'm sure I'll miss you guys after a few months. Well, who knows what happened like 2 months in Sydney. The point I'm trying to make, well, I'm going to get to the point eventually, is that when you decide to change your frequency or your vibration, so to me that means the cat's joined us. Merlin. He's got a cat cold apparently. When you change your vibrational frequency, so let's say you want to go from vibrating anger, rage, bitterness, annoyance, irritation, blame, shame, guilt, apathy. If you want to go from those emotions to the higher vibration emotions that feel good, like peace, love, joy, happiness, enlightenment, giving, that kind of, if you want to go to that, It takes some time. I mean, you can quantum leap, I guess, but yeah, you want to work through it at a steady, even pace. Anyway, I did this all by myself. I realized that the situations in my life were like, oh God, I need to shift, I need to change, because I don't want to attract this ever again. And one of these particular relationships that was the catalyst for this was like my worst relationship. It was, the guy was pretty abusive and difficult, and it was a nightmare. And I was just like, how did that happen? How did I attract this? What is going on? So I started going in, like looking in within me to find out what attracted that. What parts of me would attract someone like that in my life that put me at risk, put my daughter at risk, all that kind of thing. So these were all uncomfortable. This was an uncomfortable time. And then I started really delving and realizing that a lot of my friends, or a lot of the people I was hanging out with, didn't really give a monkey's about me, really. What tied us together was substances and nights out and stuff like that. So that wasn't enough. I wanted to put a caveat that there was lots of beautiful people. There was a lot of beautiful people in my life too, always has been. But the general, like, the circles I was hanging in. And I realized that I was never going to achieve a sense of self-worth and achievement if I carried on in those circles. Hello, everyone. Hello, Anthea in South Africa. Hello, Neil in Edinburgh. Hello, Oda and June in Exeter. And wherever you are, let me know. So something had to change. So my life got to the point where it got so bad that I had to, like, crack open a new version of myself, like really power through. And that is when I you might have heard me talk about this before, I fell down the stairs, which was like a timeline jump, really, because it was the wake-up call that I needed to get out of that lifestyle and that situation. And in doing that, I couldn't work. So I couldn't go to my job. I couldn't drive an hour and a half a day with the way my back was. So it gave me the opportunity to go in. So I went all out. I basically did this kind of like daily meditation. It was like 21-day meditation cycles. And you meditate on, at the time when I was working with the chakra system, which I don't so much now, was, you meditate on each chakra at a time, one per day. I added to this routine to learn the major arcana of the tarot. So I was using one card a day. There's 21 cards in the major arcana, and so I was learning one card a day. I was learning numerology, one number a day, and I was meditating on a chakra a day. And each chakra, you were asking yourself a set of questions. And I think if there's interest, I will do a 21-day style, let's burst through these emotional patterns and woundings that we've held on to for such a long time. Because this was my original boot camp that I did on my own. And I really, I cut out everyone from my life. I stopped seeing any friends. I just went within. And I was really injured too. I couldn't really move my neck. I couldn't really hug anyone. I couldn't hug my daughter properly even. But every single day I dedicated myself to sitting down and doing this meditation. Let's say on the throat, it would be like, when have you been unable to communicate? Or when have you silenced yourself? When did you silence another? When have you not spoken your truth? When have you blah, blah, blah. So it's like bringing up all the blockages in that particular area. And every day you'd go into that and you would really be cold, honest truth. Like really recall all the times, and you'll feel it all activating, and and you'll feel all the emotions, that you maybe had when you were a teenager and you were really awkward, or that kind of thing. And so every day I was bringing up all this stuff with the aim of releasing it and letting it go. And you'd kind of like have waves of these feelings of like, okay, I can let this go, or I can forgive myself, or I can pour love into the little me that was really in pain at that point, and really allowed myself to feel through it and to try and let it go. But some things are really hard to let go of. Some things were like swords in your spine, or like daggers in your heart, or burnt to singe, or like wounded. Like my heart used to be so wounded because of some stories like long before that. It was like staring into the sun. You couldn't even look at it. It was that painful. And so then you try and release this pattern and this feeling and send love in, but you can't cheat on this stuff. You can't. I'm gonna shut the door because the cat's just looking out. If it hadn't cleared and you hadn't been able to let it go, then you would have to revisit it the next week. So you'd write down, like, I cleared this, and I felt it go, and it felt like a relief, and then I revisit the memories and they're gone. Then you know that you can kind of move on to the next thing. And then the next week you'll come back to the same chakra or same place and go, like, have I cleared that? It's still there. I can still feel the fizzing. I can still feel the pain, whatever it is. And then you release it. Again, you try again, and then you keep revisiting it. I think I did the 21 days 3 times in a row, and at this point people, like the few people that I was still in touch with, were like, what are you doing to yourself? And I was like, I don't know. There was like endless tears and endless crying, and I just knew that I couldn't be in those situations anymore. I couldn't be in those relationships anymore. It was like really burning down everything I knew at that point about myself, about the people I was around, and dissolving these emotional patterns. It was painful, but I'm so relieved I did it, because they haven't really come back. You know, once you've cleared it, you've cleared it. And so I really went for it in terms of using a lot of modalities and learning a lot of really... Nikki's watching! Nikki Jackman! Hello in South Africa! It's freezing here! So, doing the point of this video, actually, this is like all the prelude. What I wanted to talk about is this, having patience with yourself when you decide to change and transform the vibration and the frequency that you're living at, and that the frequency that you emit in your universe. It's not always going to instantly come back to you with the new experiences and the new people and the new scenes that you want to create or want to have in your life. It's not like, yeah, I'm going to change, I'll do a little bit of inner work, and then all this new stuff will happen that's really great. It doesn't always happen like that. And I think this is just a little plea of, like, just have some patience, that as you gestate your new self, as you bring your new self into being, that there's big wheels are turning in your energy field, in your higher dimensional self, in the ground, in your aura, that it takes time for that vibration, the new vibration you're creating within yourself, to translate out into the world around you. So I remember cutting all these people out and doing all this inner work and being like, oh, I'm very lonely now. I'd cut everything out of my life that made sense to me at the time. Yeah, mind the gap, exactly, says Nikki. It's just this patient moment of just secretly know, like, talk to your future self and know that you're going to be surrounded by your tribe or people that understand you and people that recognize you. They're coming. But you have to allow kind of your what you emit to translate out into the environment around you, literally like a radio station. It's not going to instantly, like, you might feel it here, like, oh, I don't have that emotional pattern anymore. Oh, like, my heart's not hurting in the same way, or whatever. And then it takes like a little bit of time for that to translate into your actual energy field. So when we're doing kinesiology, we actually check the vital body. So you check the vital body is the aura, and we check layers, and we check, so is the connection, like your energy and your body aligned? Like, is there an alignment? Is there a connection between the two? And let's say it is a yes. That means, like, okay, that's a good connection between your physical and your energy. But does it go on beyond that? And let's say it's switched off from 1 to 7 to beyond. To me, that's saying that yes, you have integrity in your connection with your energy and your body, but it's not translated out into the wider world. So good to see you. Such inspirational work. Catch up soon. Definitely. We're useless at catching up, Nikki. Luckily, we talk on other planes. I go to Sydney on Monday. So excited. Yeah, so my message today is have patience with the new vibration that you're trying to create, and just have the patience to just wait for the good stuff to come, because it really does. And sometimes you think you've really done the inner work on something and there was maybe a few little bits that hadn't quite worked. And eventually you are quantum leaping into new journeys and new experiences. The faster you recognize your patterns, and the faster you, like the way you grow your tools to clear your own energy, and to clear negative thought patterns or limiting beliefs, and the faster you build up your toolbox, your superhero toolbox, then yeah, you will be quantum leaping into new experiences faster and faster. But if you're just starting out, hey Dan, nice to see you. You're in Cardiff, I think, if you're still there. Yes, so if you're really like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm in these pits, or with these experiences, or I can't believe that I've manifested this like ridiculous relationship that it's not a reflection of my heart and who I am, then there's some work to do before you can start inviting in the good stuff. And it's like, you can't end like some terrible relationship that was really like a bad reflection of both of you, and then expect a great one to appear. Like, it'll just appear and it'll be magic. You've got to work for it, I think. That's what I feel like. I think you have to look at your patterns and look at what you create, and look at the energy that you put out in the world. What is your mind creating that your body has to feel? Or how does your body have to react to what you're experiencing and feeling? If you're being pushed and pulled around like a rag doll because of how your mind works, then there's some work to do there. Do the inner work. I think that's the message. Do your inner work, and then be patient that the good stuff will happen. So yeah, I'm super excited to be in Australia this next week, and I think I'm going to concentrate on doing aura transformations and work like that in Melbourne, because I'm there the longest, and in Tasmania if people want to go there. And so I'm going to put some stuff out about that soon. And I've been really blessed to be fully booked in Lancaster again. And 2 of my new aura transformations were both driven and taking trains from Leicester. So people have come quite a long way for their aura transformations, and I'm always very grateful that they've heard the message of their spirit, that it's time to embody, it's time to pull all your energy in from all these different from all the places you've dispersed your energy, and it's time to walk on earth fully embodied. I love you all, and take care.